Hello from me, Lazar Hristov. Welcome to the next lesson in the series. Introduction to Lazarus IDE. First, we present my third book, which I'm currently working on, Introduction to Lazarus IDE Part 3. In it, we'll create a unique programming system, or program, for working in a store. It's called My Store. In it, you will see how to make a real working project, which is more complex, with many forms, with many components. I hope you will find this very interesting. Of course, we will also show new components in Lazarus IDE. We will look at some of the old components in more detail, and I hope that this book will be a good continuation of the first two parts. Now let's continue with the specific lessons from our second book. We have already completed the free part in the first part, and now we are in the second part, which is from the paid section. We are looking at the lessons in Chapter 7, where we've already come to this Part 3. And where we are going to look at this lesson right now. Let's open the PDF file. So, after we prepared the project last time, now our next task is to include the SQLConnector component into this project. To do this, we will take the following steps. Actually, the steps here are almost the same as in the previous example, so we won't go into the details. So first, in the form we delete the component for the previous connection to the DB-SQL3 connection 1. Then we save the changes. Then we place a component of type SQLConnector on the form. There it is. Save the changes again. Click on this component in the object inspector, and in the connection type select SQLite 3. While we're at it, in the object inspector, go to the transaction property and select SQLTransaction1. Then there's the database property, click on SQLConnector1, and in the database property select SQLConnector1. Save the changes. All of this is necessary to connect the components to each other in the correct way. And then we go to the last step, although a bigger one. Everywhere in the project we change the names, and instead of SQL3 connection 1 we write SQLConnector1. Of course, we do not do this manually. There are two main ways. The first is to do it in a text editor. Open the .parse file there and highlight the word you want to replace. Then we choose Replace and write which word we will replace it with. Here's how it looks, for example, with Notepad++. You can see it here. What this looks like. Here we type the first word, here we type the second word. We press search. We select replace. The next dialog box opens, which is for replacement. Then we press the replace all button and a message appears showing how many elements have been replaced. We save the changes. We close. We open the file in Lazarus IDE. You can see what text is displayed. Now we select this option and everything is ready. We can compile and check whether the program works correctly, whether there are any errors and so on. There is a similar procedure in Lazarus IDE itself, in the search rightwards arrow replace menu. And here you see this is done in almost the same way. Now we finally have to check the program whether it will give us compilation errors. And we see that it compiles fine initially. However, when I hit the Create Database button, the Save dialog opened and I chose a name for the database the following error occurred. After a long search on the net, it turned out that the problem comes from this line in the code, and it turned out that this method is not suitable for SQLConnector, although it is suitable for SQL3 connection 1. And I made a working example with it, but I won't be demonstrating it right now. Now it will be just the theoretical part. Last time I showed what it is. It's no different. Actually, the test case is the same for all these lessons. The IDE here is to show the different components, the different databases. That's all for this lesson. Best regards.